Welcome to Wellness and Mindfulness Digest 2026-0621. Today's 12 stories. Story 1, International Yoga Day 2026. Yoga is a polypill that targets root causes of lifestyle diseases, says AIIMS doctor. Story 2, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction MBSR for improving hope and happiness in men with visual impairment. Story 3, Breathwork for nervous system regulation. Calm your body with specific techniques. Story 4, Mindfulness and Relaxation Practices for Children with Specific Learning Disabilities. Story 5, A Major Turning Point for Mindfulness in Healthcare. Story 6, Yoga, Meditation plus Neuroscience. Story 7, Yoga, Meditation may sharpen your mind, says study. Story 8, Mindfulness Exercises for Stress, a Practical Guide. Story 9, Breathing-Based Meditation, Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, ScienceDirect study. Story 10, Bakken Center Summer 2026 Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program. Story 11, Sharpen Your Focus, Mental Clarity Techniques for Medical Professionals and First Responders. Story 12, Hot or Not, Bikram no more beneficial than any other yoga, says Vascular study. Story 1, International Yoga Day 2026. Yoga is a polypill that targets root causes of lifestyle diseases, says AIIMS doctor. The University of Minnesota's HR department is offering employees something a bit more substantial than a typical workplace wellness perk this summer. Starting June 24, 2026, the Earl E. Bakken Center for Spirituality and Healing is running a full 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program, commonly known as MBSR, at the Marsh venue in the Twin Cities area. Now, this is not a casual lunchtime seminar. MBSR is a clinically developed, evidence-based program originally created by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn at the University of Massachusetts back in 1979. It's been studied extensively and shown to reduce stress, anxiety, and burnout. The university's version follows the full clinical protocol: 1 orientation session, 8 weekly classes ranging from 2.5 to 3 hours each, and a full-day Saturday or Sunday retreat clocking in at 6.5 hours. In total, participants are committing to roughly 30 or more hours of structured mindfulness training across 2 months. The suggested fee is $475, though sliding scale options are available, and participants who complete at least 6 of the 8 sessions, the all-day retreat, and a final evaluation can earn 5,700 well-being points through the university's reward system. The cohort is capped at just 30 people, which keeps the group intimate and aligned with how MBSR is designed to be delivered. Why does this matter beyond the University of Minnesota? It represents a growing trend of major institutions embedding serious, research-backed mental health tools directly into their HR infrastructure. This isn't a ping-pong table or a meditation app subscription. It's a structured clinical program with academic oversight. That said, 30 spots at $475 apiece doesn't go very far across a workforce of thousands, and questions about equitable access for lower-wage employees remain real. Still, as burnout continues to be recognized as a genuine public health crisis, programs like this point to what meaningful institutional investment in employee well-being can look like. Story 2, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR, for improving hope and happiness in men with visual impairment. Medical professionals and first responders are under extraordinary cognitive pressure every single day. Decisions made in seconds can determine whether someone lives or dies, and the cumulative toll of that kind of high-stakes mental load is enormous. Burnout, cognitive fatigue, and stress-related impairment are not just personal struggles for these workers. They are patient safety issues and public health concerns. Kula for Karma, a nonprofit dedicated to bringing mindfulness and yoga to underserved and high-stress populations, has published a practical guide specifically designed for these groups. The article identifies 5 core techniques for maintaining mental clarity under pressure, and what makes them noteworthy is their accessibility. None require special equipment, significant time, or a gym membership. First is mindfulness meditation. Even 5 minutes before a shift, focusing on the breath, has been shown to improve concentration and lower stress hormones. Second is controlled deep breathing. The protocol they recommend involves inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 8. That extended exhale is actually doing something physiologically real. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system and slows your heart rate. Third is the humble to-do list. Writing tasks down externalizes them from your working memory, freeing up cognitive bandwidth for the immediate situation in front of you. Fourth is sleep, 7 to 8 hours, framed not as a lifestyle recommendation, but as a cognitive performance requirement. And fifth is hydration, because even mild dehydration measurably impairs brain function. Now, this article has real limitations. There are no citations, no publication date, and it comes from an organization with an advocacy mission around mindfulness. So treat it as a useful practitioner communication piece, not a clinical protocol. But the underlying science behind each of these techniques is solid and well established. For healthcare systems looking to support their frontline workers, integrating even these small behavioral habits into shift culture could make a meaningful difference in both worker well-being and patient outcomes. Story 3, Breathwork for Nervous System Regulation. Calm your body with specific techniques. If you've ever paid a premium for a hot yoga class believing the heat was doing something extra for your heart and blood vessels, this 2018 study covered by The Guardian has some interesting news for you. Researchers conducted a vascular study comparing 3 groups: people who practiced Bikram yoga, that's the heated format done in rooms around 40 degrees Celsius, people who practiced yoga at normal room temperature, and a control group that did no yoga at all. They were specifically looking at arterial endothelial function, which is essentially how well the inner lining of your blood vessels is working, a meaningful marker of cardiovascular health. The results: both yoga groups improved equally. The hot yoga practitioners and the regular yoga practitioners showed the same gains in vascular function, and the non-yoga control group showed no improvement at all. That last point is actually important in 2 directions. It confirms that yoga genuinely helps cardiovascular health, but it also deflates the idea that you need to be sweating in a heated room to get those benefits. What this tells us physiologically is that the active ingredients in yoga's cardiovascular benefits are almost certainly the movement, the breath work, and the calming effect on the nervous system, not the temperature of the room. The heat is essentially a neutral variable when it comes to vascular outcomes. Now, the article summary we have is brief. We don't know the sample size, the study duration, or where it was published, so we should treat this with appropriate caution. And it's worth noting this research is now 7 years old. But the core finding remains instructive. If you prefer hot yoga, enjoy it. If you find it uncomfortable or you have cardiovascular risk factors that make extreme heat inadvisable, standard yoga will serve your heart just as well. The health benefits are in the practice itself, not the thermostat. Story 4, Mindfulness and Relaxation Practices for Children with Specific Learning Disabilities. Published in 2026, this ScienceDirect study examines how mindfulness and relaxation interventions reduce depressive and anxiety symptoms in children with specific learning disabilities. Results indicate the program is a promising, low-risk intervention for improving emotional regulation in a vulnerable youth population. The research underscores the broader applicability of mindfulness practices across developmental contexts. Story 5, a major turning point for mindfulness in healthcare. John Kabat-Zinn, founder of MBSR, comments on the establishment of the first medical school division dedicated to studying the impact of meditation, marking a historic institutional milestone. This development signals a shift toward formal clinical integration of mindfulness as a mainstream healthcare tool. The article reflects on the decades-long journey from fringe practice to medical legitimacy. Story 6, Yoga, Meditation plus Neuroscience. This resource synthesizes research on yoga and meditation across multiple neurological and psychological domains, including stress, burnout, stroke recovery, neuropathy, and trauma. It bridges neuroscientific findings with practical yoga and meditation applications, offering a grounded overview for practitioners and health-curious readers. The content is well-suited for those interested in the mind-body connection and nervous system health. Story 7, Yoga, Meditation may sharpen your mind, says study. A study cited in this article suggests that meditation and pranayama, yogic breathing, may act as a brain fertilizer, strengthening the ability to focus on tasks. The research positions breathwork and meditation as neurologically enhancing practices, supporting cognitive function and attention. While older in origin, the findings remain relevant to ongoing discussions about focus and mental clarity. Story 8, Mindfulness Exercises for Stress, a Practical Guide. This practical guide outlines 5 evidence-based mindfulness exercises for stress relief, including body scans and mindful breathing, each backed by neuroscience research. The content is accessible, actionable, and grounded in established techniques drawn from MBSR and related traditions. It serves as a strong entry point for readers seeking immediate, research-supported tools. Story 9, Breathing-Based Meditation, Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, ScienceDirect Study. This peer-reviewed article on ScienceDirect investigates the effects of Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, SKY, a rhythmic breathing-based meditation practice, on health outcomes. SKY has been studied for its effects on stress hormones, mental health, and immune function, making it one of the more scientifically documented breathwork traditions. The abstract-level access still signals strong research relevance. Story 10, Bakken Center Summer 2026 Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program. The University of Minnesota's Bakken Center is offering an 8-week, evidence-based MBSR program in summer 2026, providing in-depth training in mindfulness meditation. Rooted in Jon Kabat-Zinn's original curriculum, this institutional program reflects the continued mainstreaming of mindfulness in workplace and academic wellness. It serves as a practical, accessible pathway for those seeking structured mindfulness training. Story 11, Sharpen Your Focus, Mental Clarity Techniques for Medical Professionals and First Responders. This article explores tools and techniques designed to maintain peak cognitive performance under high-pressure conditions, with a focus on medical professionals and first responders. It addresses concentration, mental clarity, and decision-making through accessible, non-pharmaceutical strategies. The content is grounded, practical, and relevant to anyone managing chronic stress or demanding cognitive workloads. Story 12, Hot or Not? Bikram no more beneficial than any other yoga, says Vascular study. A vascular study compared Bikram, hot, yoga with regular temperature yoga and found both produced equivalent improvements in arterial lining function, while non-yoga participants showed no improvement. The research challenges the perceived superiority of heated yoga formats and reinforces that consistent yoga practice, regardless of style, supports cardiovascular health. This is a useful data point for practitioners choosing between yoga formats.